The first of our trio of English clubs for this week is Arsenal FC. This is another one of those clubs with far too much to cover, so I'll just go over some key things. As you can guess from their name and the fact that their badge has in every single one of its forms always had a cannon on it, Arsenal were founded by munitions workers. Arsenal are one of England's most successful clubs when it comes to silverware, having won 14 FA Cups, which is a record, as well as holding on to 16 Community or Charity Shield trophies, and finally 13 league titles, one of which was as Invincibles, which any Gooners fan will talk to you to no end about. If you're unfamiliar with the term Invincibles, it means that a club goes the entire domestic season without losing. Arsenal accomplished it in 2003-2004 by taking 26 wins and 12 draws. And for bonus points, name me in the comments the only other English club who's ever accomplished an invincible season in the top flight. If you're just getting to know Arsenal for the first time, there is one name that you need to know even before any of the players, and that is Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger managed Arsenal for 22 seasons, which is almost unheard of longevity in the Premier League, with only Sir Alex Ferguson of United being in the same category. My favorite bit of Arsene Wenger trivia for you is before coming to Arsenal, he was the manager of Nagoya Grampus 8, which is a club in Japan, this being a kit that Kaylee, my wife, got me a couple years ago for my birthday. The other side of Arsene Wenger is he gets a lot of criticism from fans. They moved from their longtime home at Highbury into a brand new and very expensive stadium called the Emirates Stadium, which was very taxing on the club's finances. As a result, Wenger led the club to be a lot more fiscally sound and tighten the purse strings. And that meant that some of the best players in the world were no longer coming to play at Arsenal. And honestly, a lot of the squads that Wenger had throughout those years overperformed, in my opinion, because they finished in the top four more often than not, which does get you into the Champions League. And while they weren't winning the league anymore, being in European competition is pretty key for club finances, so that was important, and Wenger retired from the club in 2018. The greatest rival is, as Arsenal fans will tell you, this chicken sitting on a football, better known as their North London derby opponents, Tottenham Hotspur. To give you a small slice of the players from the past that you need to know, let's talk first about Thierry Henry, the Frenchman, and the greatest striker that ever played for the club, as well as up front, Dennis Bergkamp, another one of the best forwards from the Wenger era. Finally, let's talk about Tony Adams, one of their best captains and defensive players from the 90s. In the current squad, first let's talk about Bukayo Saka, a young player who has stardom written all over him in the Premier League. Second, I feel like Arsenal are doing pretty good transfer business this offseason, bringing in a man near and dear to my heart in Gabriel Jesus from Manchester City. He seems to be scoring at will during preseason, which is a good sign. And finally, for your American fans, let's talk about the two Americans they brought in this window, the first being Matt Turner, goalkeeper, who's probably going to be the backup at the club, and second, Austin Trusty, a defender who's brought over from the Colorado Rapids, who are also owned by Stan Kroenke. He first came over on loan, and he's there now permanently in the last couple weeks, although he's been loaned out to Birmingham City, which I think is a good choice for his growth. So that's your rundown on Arsenal FC from the north of London. Drop in the comments anything that I've missed that's important to you as a fan.